Hello Internet, Mike from Mike Jones Knife and Tool. Due to the sudden loss of my little grinder here, work is going to kind of come to a standstill on the knife making side of things. However, I can still get on with a couple other little projects, like putting a handle on this old double bit axe head that a friend of mine gave me. As you can see, I've already kind of I started cleaning this up a little while ago when he first gave it to me. I took a wire brush and cleaned off all the rust. There was a lot of rust in this. It's kind of a little bit pitted, but nothing that I can't live with. So I'm going to clean up the other edge, and then, like I say, we'll put a handle on it. So I'm going to put a handle on this thing before I clean up the other edge, just because I feel like it. This thing's, I wish I had a little more information on it. The only markings that I can see on it is this SM that I guess must have stood for the blacksmith that made it, I guess, or maybe it was manufactured in a plant and then beat up really bad, and then some kid by the name of SM put his initials in it. Who knows? But in any case, I've wanted a double bit for a long time, so I'm really excited to turn this one into a functioning tool again. So shaping another axe handle is another great reason for me to pull out my new favorite love, rasps. Let's take a closer look at some of these. So these are most of the rasps that I own. The big ones here are actually farrier's rasps. Farriers were the guys who they were like the blacksmiths that would build and install horseshoes, and they would use these to kind of clean up the bottoms of the hooves of the horses so that the shoes would fit nice and snug up against them. I finally actually got to looking at some of these and noticing some of the names on them. See if I can get this here. Simons Black Master, and it's spelt the same way as the Simons that makes some of the most sought after crosscut saws, the big old felling saws that they used back before chainsaws. So I'm wondering if it's the same company, and that would be really interesting. This one here is a Heller. I don't know anything about them, but I'm sure when I'm editing this later on, it'll remind me to look it up. Mike, look up Heller Farrier's rasps. There we go. This one here, this one's aggressive. Look at the teeth on this thing. I wonder if I can give you a comparison here. There's the teeth on this Heller. It's pretty aggressive as far as taking material off. There's the Simons. That takes off a lot of material. Like, I don't know if I'd want to take off any more. This guy is just super aggressive. I tried this once and it was just like, it just chewed like too much material off all at once. And it has Heller Bros. The plot thickens. What happened to the other bro? And for some reason someone a while ago decided to bend, I don't know, is that called a tang on a file or a rasp? Anyways, this one's a Nicholson, made in Canada, local boy. But Nicholson's a pretty prominent name in rasps and files I'm finding. These ones are all Nicholsons. You can tell they've all got the same style handle. These are some rasps, and this one's actually just a file. It even says so on it. Focus. No. There it is. Hand file. So anyways, and I've just collected these all from yard sales or estate sales or gold mines for finding this kind of old stuff. And initially I wanted to just keep them because rasps and files are made of excellent steel, high carbon content, and so they're great for pounding into knives or other tools like that. But then I started using them and immediately fell in love with shaping wood with these things. So there's a little introduction to some of the tools I'm going to be using. Definitely not this guy, but let's get to it. Here we have a big piece of hickory. Hickory is the preferred handle material for pretty much anything, be it hammers or axes or whatever. The reason being, it's got a really long grain, which makes it really strong and far less prone to snapping after all that abuse. The trick is you want your grain to run. I'll see if I can get a shot of that for you. See if you can see this. You want your grains here running with the swinging action of the tool. So if this was an axe, you'd want to be swinging it this way, which is perfect for the way that this piece of wood is cut. Take a look at any good axe that you've got. Here's a Grand Force, and you can tell when you're shopping for axes. Do this. Have a look at the grain and the butt of the handle here, and make sure that it's running. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it to focus here so you can see this. Just make sure that your grains are running predominantly this direction with the cutting edge, with the axe head. Same with hammers, everything like that. You want your grain running that way, and you also want you don't want to have any heartwood. This one's just got this little chunk. You can see where the wood changes color there. That was the heartwood. Ideally, you wouldn't have any of that through your handle, just because I guess there's a very slim chance that that little piece could crack right where the heartwood meets the sapwood. But you know, on a handle like this, I trust Grand Force. They've been in it for a long time, and I guess if you got a little bit like that, if it passes their test, I'm happy with it. So the first thing to do here is to trace out the shape of my handle. The one thing you want to be sure of is that you've got enough wood to fill the entire eye of the axe head here. And then you also want to leave it, give yourself a little bit up at the top there to play with, just to make sure you got plenty that's going to fill up the top of the there we go, the top of the axe. And you can even leave 3/4 of an inch protruding the top of the axe head there. No big deal. Losing that little bit of length overall isn't going to hurt. It would hurt if you screwed up and didn't have enough wood to fill up the top of the head there. So err on the side of caution, and then I'll trace out sort of the shape. It's going to be pretty simple. Most double bits are. They can't get all curvy because obviously they've got to be symmetrical both one way or the other. So it's just going to be kind of narrow, nice and mellow, and then down at the handle, it's going to swell out into a nice little fawn's foot down at the bottom. So I'll draw that out, and then I'll cut out the shape kind of rough with a jigsaw. I can also trace out roughly the shape of the handle in this direction on this plane as well. Once it's cut out the one way, we can flip it and kind of rough it out that way as well, save ourselves a bit of work, and then it's on to shaping with the rasps. Here's what I've come up with for a handle shape. Again, I left a bunch of room at the top there, and then that's just going to be all square as it goes up through the eye of the axe head. This will be a bit of a shoulder, which will extend down a little bit lower than the eye of the axe there, just to give it something to sit down that I can pound it down onto. And then it's just a very simple taper, straight axe handle, and then it's actually going to come in a little bit narrower for the handle there, and then I just kind of roughed out a bit of a fawn's foot there. That'll probably change a little bit when I go to shape it by hand, but it's really basic. The only thing I was really worried about was symmetry. So what I've done was I found the center of the eye and drew myself a center line, and then I drew one side, and then I took a couple of points along the way there and just kind of measured across from one side, and then marked a point and then drew it out. And again, this is just rough. This is just basically to cut it out, just so I can limit the amount that I have to shape by hand, and it's just to get me close. Apparently some poor guy at the lumber mill can't spell. And flash forward, cut out, rough and dirty. I know a lot of you are thinking, Mike, did you really cut through 2 inches of solid hickory with a little jigsaw? No, of course not. I cheated the hell out of it. Circular saw. You have any idea what cutting through 2 inches of hickory is like with a little jigsaw. Anyways, just has to be rough. And then on the one side here, you can see I can trace out the profile for the other direction. At the top here, you can see we ended up with awesome grain direction, just like we wanted. I stuck the head of the axe on top there, traced it out, left a little bit extra room, drew it again a little bit larger, and then extrapolated those lines down the edge there to give me an idea where to start. And again, this is just going to be all rough. So we'll cut that out and we'll see where we're at. Alright, there it is. And cut most of it out. It basically did as much as it felt like was easier to do with a saw than with the rasp. The rest will just be, I think, will be much easier to tackle with a nice aggressive rasp. So get this cleaned up, and I'll get this cleaned up, and really wish I wasn't shopping for a new grinder right now, because I could really go for a bandsaw. So these rasps have a really aggressive coarse side, like I was showing you before, but like most files, they've also got a fine side on the other side. So I'll just show you how that affects your wood here. I'm not pressing very hard, just giving enough just to try to take those teeth marks out of it that you can see along here. There, just like that, eh? And it's not perfect. I mean, the fine side of this rasp is still fairly aggressive compared to any file, but it'll get you to the point where you can go at it with some heavy grit sandpaper and take out all the scratch lines from this, and you work from there. Alright guys, so here's where we're at now. I've just kind of roughed out the one side here of the whole handle, and as you can see, I drew myself a center line just for reference, just to try to keep both sides pretty symmetrical. Just give myself an idea of how far down to go. But like I say, we're still roughing it out. As you can see, the head here and the fawn's foot aren't nearly symmetrical, but I've given myself lots of room here to work with, and also lots of room up here to fit the head on, so I can take a bunch of material off of this side, and it's all going to work out pretty good, I think. So that's where I'm at right now, but it is dinner time, so I'm quitting for tonight, and then next time I'll finish roughing out the handle, get it really close, maybe to the point where it just needs a quick sand, and then I'll pull out the whetstone. We'll finish tuning up this axe head, and then it will be fitting the head to the handle, or hanging, as it were. So we'll see how long this video is getting. It's probably getting pretty long already. We might be into our first multi-part series, so stick with me.